And welcome back again. Yours truly, Anthony Parker of Keeping It Honest. Yours truly, Anthony Parker. Trying to hurry up today because Trump has a rally, and it should be interesting what he talks about, especially after he had that debate. You see everything crawling on the bottom. Instagram account, Anthony Alexander, SR8, Anthony Alexander, XR8. You can text me, voicemail 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. Email me, parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. And now let's sit back and enjoy the Trump rally.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is an honor. What a crowd this is. Look where that crowd goes. This is a big crowd. A very special hello to Wisconsin. We really appreciate it. We've had great success here. We've had tremendous success, and I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with the thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. And if you can believe it, 59 days from now, we are going to win Wisconsin. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we are going to win the White House, that gorgeous, beautiful White House. We're going to win it. And we're going to turn this country around because this country is a failing nation right now. It's a laughing stock all over the world. Over the past 4 years, our country has seen the sickness and corruption of the Washington swamp exposed like never before. You've seen it. You've been watching it. You watch those millions and millions of people pour into our country. We have no idea from where, who they are. We know nothing about them. And I'll tell you, many of them are bad. Many of them are among the worst in the world. Under the Harris-Biden regime, your government imported murderers, child predators, and serial rapists from all over the planet, while weaponizing law enforcement to jail political opponents here at home. They do that and they think it's wonderful. It's like third world country only. They loot the economy. They give trillions and trillions of dollars to their left-wing cronies while you pay the cost of rampant inflation, which is what's happened. Rampant inflation, bad energy policy, and just pouring out money like it was water. They run your country for their own power and profit while erasing your borders, assaulting your freedom, indoctrinating your children, and selling your jobs to China, Mexico, and all of these other foreign lands. But with your vote this election, their lying, cheating, thieving, hoaxing, and plotting will come to an end. It's going to come to an end. We're going to cast out the corrupt political class. We're going to restore our republic, and we are going to drain the swamp. And we're going to do it once and for all. We're going to get it done. Thank you very much, everybody. This is an honor. What a crowd this is. Look where that crowd goes. This is a big crowd. A very special hello to Wisconsin.
And stopping the tape right now because it's interesting. The day before, it was Kamala and Trump and Biden and Vance at the 9/11 memorial. And they shook hands. It was very pleasant to see them. And the day before that, they had the debate, which, of course, we know how that went. It's interesting. I think Kamala won. Donald Trump thought he won. I hope they do another debate because it was very exciting. We did a long show on it, a couple different segments. I'm talking right now because some of this we had already heard. But you're watching Keeping It Honest with yours truly, Anthony Parker. Let's see if he's going to talk about them working together, if he's going to call them names, if he's going to fact check Ms. Harris, if he's going to fact check ABC. Because in the long run, I think Ms. Harris may get a little bump, but I also feel that a lot of people felt sorry for Trump. So let's see. Remember, he got shot. He came from that. Came back from that. He can come back from anything.
We have no idea from where, who they are. We know nothing about them. And I'll tell you, many of them are bad. Many of them are among the worst in the world. Under the Harris-Biden regime, your government imported murderers, child predators, and serial rapists from all over the planet, while weaponizing law enforcement to jail political opponents here at home. They do that and they think it's wonderful. It's like third world country only. They loot the economy. They give trillions and trillions of dollars to their left-wing cronies while you pay the cost of rampant inflation, which is what's happened. Rampant inflation, bad energy policy, and just pouring out money like it was water. They run your country for their own power and profit while erasing your borders, assaulting your freedom, indoctrinating your children, and selling your jobs to China, Mexico, and all of these other foreign lands. But with your vote this election, their lying, cheating, thieving, hoaxing, and plotting will come to an end. It's going to come to an end. We're going to cast out the corrupt political class. We're going to restore our republic, and we are going to drain the swamp, and we're going to do it once and for all. We're going to get it done.
Drain the swamp. See the signs? Something different. We're bringing it back from Hippie is back. You know this part was set up.
Thank you very much. Here are 9 steps I'll take very quickly to break the grip of this rogue regime. This is the worst president and vice president in the history of our country. There's never been anybody that's done the damage of these people. You know, I used to say, and I haven't said it in a while, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the country, and let's include vice president because she's worse than he is, because she's actually a believer. He wasn't. But if you took the 10 worst, they haven't done the damage that this one administration has done to our country. First, I will end forever the weaponization of government and the abuse of law enforcement against political opponents. Under Comrade Kamala, Christians and pro-life activists are rotting in prison for the crime of praying in public. How about the people they're arresting because they were praying in public? These people are sick. People like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, good people, were locked up for following the advice of their lawyers. And as everyone knows, the Harris-Biden DOJ is trying to throw me in jail. They want me in jail for the crime of exposing their corruption. We expose their corruption. They go after the people that expose, not the people that do the corruption. The big news this week was that the Manhattan DA witch hunt against me has been postponed because everyone realizes that there's no case because I did nothing wrong. Did nothing wrong. Political witch hunt. It's a political attack against me by Comrade Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe.
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into one of the most incredible real estate strategies that's the most passive and creates the highest rate of return? Now, I bet you're thinking, Brian, I don't even know what that is. And even if I did, I don't know how to do it. I want to show you why I got involved in tax lien certificates. And we're coming to your area to teach a free class. So we won't get into all the specifics.
And other radical left opponents for the purpose of election interference. This is all it is. My whole life, I never had anything. Now, all of a sudden, I got so many cases. Who's indicting me today? Does anybody have any? Well, sir, you challenged the election. We think you should be under indictment. We challenged the corrupt election. We were right about that. And it's a case that should never have been brought, and they postponed it. And nothing like this has ever happened in the United States before. It's strictly third world banana republic stuff. That's what it is. But importantly, the public understands this. That's why we have such a crowd today. This is a big crowd, you know.
Good crowd.
You know,
Every
they
crowd,
were trying to say that she gets big crowds. Number one, she doesn't. Number two, she buses the people in. You see the buses are. There's nobody busting. I'm sorry to tell you. We bust in nobody. We have some people from North Carolina. I think it's what is it? Those beautiful ladies from North Carolina are here again. Without their husbands, never have their husbands, those poor husbands. This is, what is this, 249 or something, 249. And we love them, and we're doing well in North Carolina. We left yesterday. We just got the endorsement of the biggest police group in the country, and 380,000 police. I said, how many police does our country have? But it's 380,000 endorsed me yesterday in North Carolina, your home state. And I just want to thank them. This is like number 250. And I never see their husbands. They're all happily married, but I never see their husbands. So I don't know what the hell is going on. They're beautiful. And they're always perfectly coiffed. That means they have money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It's great. And we always have front row Joes over here. Look at these people. Whoa. It's a lot of front row Joes. They've been here for 4 days. Thank you very much. Thank you. The spirit we have is greater than ever before. You know, we did great in 2016. We did better in 2020. But you're not allowed to say that, because if you say that, they go after you. We did better by millions and millions of votes. But neither one of them compared to what's happening now. We've never seen the enthusiasm and the love that we have now. This has really been incredible. And if I didn't think we did well last time, I wouldn't have done this, because, you know, it's a little tough life. It's not the easiest. You get shot at, other things happen, other routine events happen. But we're going to do it for one reason. I wouldn't have changed. They asked me just a little while ago, a reporter said, sir, if you had to do it again, would you do it again? I said, absolutely, because we're going to make America great again. And that's better than my life.
Wow.
Right? These guys know. We know. They know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
He's just looking at.
What an incredible crowd. What an incredible. Nobody's ever had crowds like this. Nobody ever. And the fake news knows it. That's a lot of fake news back there. That's a lot of fake news. The public understands this, and so does every legal scholar, expert, luminary, including people like Andy McCarthy, Jonathan Turley, Alan Dershowitz, Mark Levin, Stephen Calabrese, David Rifkin, Greg Jarrett, Katie and Andrew Cherkowski, Eli Honig of CNN even knows it. They really, they've said very powerfully that this is a case that should have never been brought. It's an embarrassment. Every legal scholar of note has said this stuff shouldn't be happening. It's a weaponization of government. I greatly appreciate the words, if necessary. They also said the decision will be postponed if necessary. First of all, there is no if necessary. We did nothing wrong. We're never going to let them do this. Somebody else wouldn't have taken it. I was thinking, how many people, I was with some people on the plane, and I said, how many people would have taken this? Most of them would have left. They would have said, I'm getting out of this business, but not me. I don't know. Not me. We're up against very bad, evil people. It's an evil force. You know, we have people on the outside and we have people on the inside. You have people, countries, China, Russia, Kim Jong-un. We have lots of people. They're tough and they're smart. And by the way, a lot smarter than what we have now. We have a bunch of dumb people. We have the dumbest leaders in the history of our country and the history of the world. But you know what? They look at us and they say, what the hell is going on? Did you see? 3 days ago, it started again. The Justice Department said, Russia may be involved in our elections again. You see that, Mr. Congressman? Great congressman from Texas. You see that? Russia. It's Russia. And the whole world laughed at him this time. 2.5 years, not a phone call made to Russia, not anything to do with Russia, except stopping their pipeline and lots of other things that these people approved. And they said just the other day, the Attorney General, we are looking at Russia. And I said, oh, no, it's Russia, Russia, Russia all over again. But they don't look at China and they don't look at Iran. They look at Russia. I don't know what it is with poor Russia. That's very, but you know what? Russia would have never happened if I were president. Attacking Ukraine would have never happened. I knew Putin. I knew him well. And, you know, he endorsed, I don't know if you saw the other day, he endorsed Kamala.
Wow. Yeah.
He endorsed Kamala. I was very offended by that. I wonder why he endorsed Kamala. No, he's a chess player. He endorsed Kamala. Should I be, Congressman, should I be upset about that? No? Huh? Was it done with a smile, Ron? Was it done with a smile? I think it was done maybe with a smile. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Nobody's going to figure it out. They're about 19 steps ahead of us. But this whole Russia thing, nobody was tougher on Russia in history than Trump. And the person that knows that better than anyone is President Vladimir Putin. He knows it better than anyone. And I'll tell you what, I will have that war finished and done and settled before I get to the White House. As president-elect, I will get that done. We'll get it done. It's a horrible, horrible war. And the deaths are far greater than you hear. You don't hear what's happening over there. They're being decimated. You don't hear what's really happening over there. We're going to get it done very quickly. I know both of them. I know Zelensky and I know Putin. I'm going to get it done very quickly. Do you ever notice? I don't even think we try. We just give billions and billions of dollars. Does anyone ever talk to Russia about get this thing finished? Nobody talks. We don't have any communication, nothing. We're run by stupid people. Stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night. Is anybody going to be watching? You know, she's a threat to democracy. They always say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I'm not a threat. I'm the opposite. I'm keeping democracy. What they are, she's a defunder of police. You know, when somebody on the far left is in charge of defund the police for 12 years, and then they switched, 3 weeks ago or something. Oh, we love our police. They don't love the police. They're radical left Marxists, and that's what she is. And she's got to be, it's not even believable. The whole thing it's not believable. Defund the police, no fracking. No, we're not going to frack. You go back a couple of years. We will never frack. There will be no fracking in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania will never frack. And now you say, oh, yes, we will frack. The whole thing is a con job. She got in. She was last. They had 22 people or something running. How Biden won, I will never know. To me, it's one of the greatest miracles. To me, it's a great miracle. But how the hell that guy won? But he won. And he got, in this one, he got 14 million votes. She got no votes. And then they put her in anyway. The bosses put her in because she's controlled by them. But she will be the worst president. He is the worst president in history. She will be worse than him. She will be worse than him. And Trump is never wrong. I am never, ever wrong. But just to finish off on the weaponization, probably most of the people have heard. Just yesterday, the top spokesman, one of the top people in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan, that's a very respected Southern District, very, very highly respected, was heard saying, and was quoted exactly, quote, honestly, I think this case is nonsense. Now, this is the boss of the whole thing.
I grew up always on the bigger side as a kid. I was always slightly thicker.
Every real estate person in New York does what Trump did. Nobody's ever been charged with this before. It's a perversion of justice. He said that the DA's office was, quote, stacking charges against Trump and rearranging things just to make them fit the case. I think it is. This is the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they don't do something. They ought to drop it. They shouldn't delay it. They should drop it. Drop all of it. Drop all of it. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone. I say it all the time. He's sort of the ultimate, he's the ultimate criminal. I got indicted more than him. My parents are up there. They're great people. They're looking down on me right now. I can't believe this has happened to my son. He's been indicted more than Al Capone. He would take that tough man sitting right in the front row, stand up. Look at him. He's tough as hell. He would take him out to dinner. If he didn't like him, you were gone. You would never be found again. You'd be in the foundation of a building. You would form the foundation of a building someplace in Wisconsin. Now, Alphonse Capone led a very vicious, violent life, but according to the statistics, I am a much worse person than Alphonse Capone. I don't think so. But he also said, this gentleman said, in New York justice system is, quote, like the Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. And he said that the persecution in Georgia by Fani Willis, you know about Fani Willis, right? Has anybody? Fani. It's pronounced Fani, F-A-N-I. That's Fanny. But she likes it Fani. When she became whatever she became, DA, she became the DA. She said, my name is Fani. Fani Willis and her boyfriend, right? Wade, Loverboy Wade. Remember Loverboy? We hired him. We gave him almost $1 million because of his tremendous talent at this particular section of the law. He never even heard of it. He was never involved in it. She gave him $1 million and she got no problem. I don't know. Maybe she does have problems, but it's a persecution of very good people. Forget me. I don't care about me. I care about like 20-something people. And she wanted to take down senators because a couple of senators called, said, what the hell is going on over there? What's happening in Georgia? What's going? They wanted to indict senators to find out what the hell is going on. Great innocent people, great patriots have been indicted by Fani and her boyfriend, and it's a disgrace. You had people that are in their 80s. Would you sign here? You know, Thomas Jefferson did the same kind of things. Alexander Hamilton, lots of people all throughout the ages. Hillary Clinton wouldn't acknowledge the election. All of these senators like Shifty Schiff, can you imagine? Shifty Adam Schiff, all of them, they disputed the 2016 election. It's okay for them to do it. But if we do it, it's a serious, serious crime. These people are sick. We got to get them the hell out of there. We have to win this election. Have to win this election, right? He knows.
Keeping it real, keeping it simple, keeping it honest. Yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander. And you know what? As I was rushing to hurry up to get this show on, whoopsie, think I got the wrong one on. The clip that came up was not the clip that was supposed to be seen. The one that Donald Trump is talking at now in Tulsa is the one that we're going to see right now. Keeping it honest, yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander. Here's Donald Trump right now.
This is a very rambunctious crowd.
Look how good he
This is
looks.
a rambunctious crowd. Well, hello, Tucson. It's great to be with you. I love this place. We've been very successful here, as you know. And I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Arizona with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's why this is a nice group. I like it. Look at all those people. Wow. As everyone saw 2 nights ago, we had a monumental victory over Comrade Kamala Harris in the presidential debate. We won big with independent voters, moderates, Republicans, and working people all across this nation, putting forward a clear vision to very simply make America great again. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris showed up spewing empty rhetoric, the same old lies, meaningless platitudes, offering no plans, no policies, and no details whatsoever, nothing. The 2 anchors, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, sat there and only corrected me on things where I was right, but didn't correct Kamala on Project 25 that I knew nothing about, on the bloodbath hoax that has been totally debunked, which had to do with the automobile industry that is going to be dying. It's dying under this administration. They're all going to be shipped out to China. And everybody in the automobile industry making, manufacturing automobiles, vote for Trump. We're going to bring back that industry. These people are killing it. She talked about knowing it was all false. She talked about the Charlottesville hoax, and these people did nothing about it, which has been totally debunked, as they say, by Snopes and Snoops and everybody else. And go look it up. Go to Snoops, whatever the hell that is. Now, I hear that's a liberal site, and they came out totally in favor of me. This got to be a bad thing, but they said they gave you total phony stories. Kamala Harris said that no state allows abortion in the 9th month, which is a complete and total lie. They do.
Yes, they do.
And even after birth, in some cases, she claimed, "I want to monitor women's pregnancies." I don't want to do that. I don't want to. It's a total lie. I don't want to do that. Women, I won't be following you around to the hospital monitoring.
Let's hope not.
No, she made it up. She's a liar. She doesn't work at McDonald's. She said she worked at McDonald's, right? Right? She worked at McDonald's and she was working so hard. There's only one problem. She didn't work at McDonald's. She's a liar. Liar. She claimed that I want to deny people IVF treatment when in fact I want to require insurance companies to pay for it.
Okay.
And I came out totally in favor of IVF. That's fertilization for the men in the audience. I wish we got a lot of tough ones here. She claims she doesn't want to ban fracking when she said repeatedly over a 10-year period, "I will not have fracking." Then about a little while ago, she goes, "I'd love to have fracking." Her pollster came back and said, "This is not good. In Pennsylvania, you want to ban fracking. That's not so good. That's a big part of what they do, right?" And she came back. All of a sudden, she thought fracking was wonderful. Here's what happens with all of these things. Right after the election, she goes back to where she was. She claims she doesn't support mass gun confiscation when, in fact, she supported it entirely. And through her entire career, think of that, she wants to confiscate your guns. Does anybody in the audience have a gun? Raise your hand.
Yeah. That's a different one.
Would you mind if this lunatic knocked on your door? "Hello, I'd like to take away your gun." Is that all right? Especially the women won't allow it. They're not going to allow it. That's unbelievable. What is that, about 100% of the audience? Let's go. Does anybody in the audience not have a gun? Wait, there's somebody. So if you want to keep your gun, we don't have to go through the rest of it. You want to keep your gun, vote for Trump. Okay?
Plain and simple and easy, huh? What about abortion?
But, she did something even worse than that. You know what it is? She was the leader of a thing called the movement, Defund the Police. How about that? She was the leader of the movement to defund the police. Now think of it. Anybody that wants to defund the police, that's called, she's down and dirty left, okay? That's down and dirty. If she's in there for a week at defund the police, we don't want her to be president. We don't want her for anything, frankly. But all of a sudden, she says, "No, I never said it." She actually goes around saying she never said it. But we've got like 10 years of tapes where she's saying it. With the guns, with the fracking, with everything we mentioned. She had many years of tapes. But the public was not fooled. They saw right through it. Kamala's lies and unprecedented partisan interference of two low-life anchors. They're low-lives. For them to do what they did, and they wouldn't correct her on like Project 25. I don't know what the hell it is. I purposely have not read it. I could, but I don't want to
Hmm.
because they never had my authorization. And
Yeah,
for them to
what he's
allow
saying.
her to get away with me, everything I said, well, we don't think it's true, like the crime statistics. The FBI didn't report the most crime ridden cities. They didn't do it. They left out
Hmm.
large numbers of areas where they had a lot of crime. So the numbers came in, they weren't up too much. And if anybody in this audience doesn't think there's more crime now, there's so much more crime now,
Hmm.
but they gave false and fraudulent numbers. They did it with something else 818,000 jobs. Think of it. They said they had 818,000 jobs that didn't exist. So your jobs numbers look better, but now they had to do what happened is they were taken away by a leaker. Usually I don't like leakers, but I like this particular
Hmm.
leaker, whoever it was. But when a prize fighter loses a fight, you've seen a lot of fights, right? The first words out of that fighter's mouth is, I want a rematch. I want a rematch. And that's what she said. I want a rematch. Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade
I
Kamala
don't know
Harris.
about that. I watched it. Did you?
And as you probably know, because you know, when you say Harris, does anybody know who Harris is? Now, Kamala is a very different kind of a word. Nice name, very nice name. But you know her as Kamala. You don't know her as Harris. When you say Harris, everyone says, "Who the hell is that?" Right?
Hmm.
But she immediately called for a second debate, which means that she was like a prize fighter that lost a fight. We had two debates, though. I had a debate with Crooked Joe Biden, right? And I had another debate with her. She and Crooked Joe have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA, totally unchecked, unvetted, and with inflation bankrupting our middle class. It has gotten bad. Everyone knows this and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate. You know, Fox invited her. She was a no-show. I sat with the great Sean Hannity. Does anybody know Sean Hannity? Good man. He's a good man. And I said, where is she? She didn't show. So we did a town hall. And he got great ratings on that town hall, I'll tell you right now. Got really great. Led all of television for the week. It's not bad, right? Simple town hall. It turned out to be a town hall from what it was supposed to be, but she didn't show up and refused also to do NBC and CBS. She went over to ABC, which, in my opinion, has taken a big hit because these two people were bad news.
Hmm.
They kept screaming at me. I said, why are you screaming? I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at him. I always liked him. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not going to watch him because he's not legit. What he did, I'm not going to watch him. And his hair's not as good as it used to be, you know?
You should know about here.
Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. She kept complaining, well, you know, when I'm in, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And at the end of the debate, I said, why don't you just do it? You could leave right now. Why don't you do it?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this and that and that.
Hmm.
Remember at the convention when she went out and they nominated her, even though she got no votes, they nominated. No, she came in last place in the primaries, right? And then she said, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No, she's a threat to democracy. She is a threat to democracy. But do you remember when she went out and she said thank you? Do you remember that? It was the weirdest thing. Am I wrong? Because they were saying JD and I are weird. No, we're very solid people. She's weird. And that vice president of hers is really weird. He's really. That was a soundbite. You know, they said, oh, he's weird. That was, in other words, they gave it to their friends in the fake news. Weird. It's something I've never called. I've been called a lot of bad things, but not weird. But, you know, she went out and the people were applauding and stuff. And she goes, thank you. 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 I think she went nuts. There was something wrong with her. But I was very happy because I got the endorsement of the vice president's family.
Vice President's family.
And I got the endorsement of the vice president's brother.
Whoa.
And even sent me a contribution. And I was very happy because Barack Hussein Obama, his brother, as you know, endorsed me. So no, his brother endorsed me.
And his brother's interesting.
That's not easy. Now so we have the endorsement of President Obama's brother. We have the endorsement of the brother of the future vice president. He better not win. If he ever won, this country will be in bad shape. It's already in bad shape. 3.5 years of what they've done to this country, especially, look, we're laughed at all over the world. We would have never had the Russia-Ukraine problem. We would have never had October 7th, Israel, the attack on Israel. None of these things, and we wouldn't have had inflation. And we wouldn't have had that horrible, the way we pulled out in Afghanistan was so horrible. None of those things would have happened. We would have had a much different country. And we wouldn't have 21 million people in our country right now that shouldn't be here. That I can tell you.
21 million? That's a lot.
So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no third debate.
No. No. Debate. 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 Come on, Donald.
It's too late anyway. The voting's already begun. You got to go out and vote. We got to vote. This is going to be the most important vote in the history of our country. It'll be the most important. People said that I was angry at the debate. Angry. I was angry. And yes, I am angry because he allowed 21 million illegal aliens invading our communities. Many of them are criminals. Many are criminals.
Are you pointing at me?
Angry.
Well, you were angry.
They said he's an angry person. No, they're destroying our country. I don't like. She's smiling. All practice, right? Did you see her? She's like, we're talking about a border invasion, the likes of which no country has ever suffered, and she's like this. But I am angry about Venezuelan gangs taking over Aurora, Colorado. And illegal Haitians, and he came in, illegal Haitian migrants taking over a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Springfield, Ohio. I was there. I campaigned there.
He's going to talk
a
about
while ago.
The dogs and cats.
Springfield, it was so beautiful. Now it's just, what a place. Can you imagine you have this small little community. All of a sudden you have 20,000 illegals in your community. Nobody knows where they come from. I'm angry about young American girls being raped and sodomized and murdered by savage criminal aliens. I'm angry about rampant inflation destroying our middle class, and the American people are also very angry about that and every other thing that we've had to endure for 3.5 years. That's why 54 days from now, we are going to tell Harris.
You're fired.
That we've had enough.
Oh, there you go.
Our country can't take it anymore. We're going to go, Comrade Kamala Harris. You've done a horrible job. You've been the worst vice president in the history of our country. You had no chance of getting this position. You shouldn't have had it. You got no votes, whether you like Biden or not. He got 14 million votes. She had none, not one. We're going to go, Comrade. You're fired. Get out. Get out. Get out. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So, thank you. Wasn't The Apprentice a great show, though? Wasn't it? Do you think if I didn't do The Apprentice, because that's a big question, because a lot of people in Hollywood are blaming themselves for this. They're saying if we didn't do The Apprentice, he wouldn't be. But
Hmm.
they all vote for me. You know that because they want to pay low taxes. They talk about no, we don't like Trump, but when they go to vote, they go, anybody watch?
That
It's true.
might be
They
true.
want low taxes, no crime, great schools, strong military. They don't want a border invasion. They don't want people pouring across the border illegally from prisons and places. So they go in, they say, no, I'm not for Trump at all. I will never vote for him. Then they go in.
I bet you people do that.
It's true. And then they go out and they do exit polls. And, in 2016 and 2020, where I got many more, millions more votes, by the way, I hate to say that. They say, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. No, it's called, I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. And they said we lost. I was told if I got 63 million votes, which is what I got in 2016, you can't lose. Just get 63. I got close to 12 million more votes than that. And we lost, but we didn't lose. And we're never going to let that happen again in this country. We're never going to let that happen. We can't let that happen again. But when they had exit polls, 2016, and they said, oh, he's getting killed in the exit polls. And I remember NBC and that stupid ABC that did this horrible debate. Those two people should be fired as an anchor. A couple of more years, they'll be fired. And she was nasty. She looked at me with hatred in her eyes. And him, he's a nice guy. I mean, they were told to do it by George Slobodanopoulos, who's in the group, right? George Slobodanopoulos. But on the exit poll, so people are walking out and they're saying, would like to know something, sir. Who'd you vote for? And they'd say, Crooked Hillary or Trump, right? But so many of them, like almost 50%, said, none of your business who we voted for. They have a tougher word, 2 words, not like Biden, 1 word, and then he gives 2. 2 words. They begin with the letters F-U. That's what they say to the people. F-U. I would never say them because we have a lot of young people here. My audience they've gotten younger and younger. Do you notice that? Younger and younger. Don't worry, I still like the old people the best. I don't care. Let that cost me, all these young people. Let that cost me the election. I still like the old people the best. Got to stay with the people that got you there, right?
Yes.
I love what we're doing for the old people. You'll hear. But so that was the 2 words, but I don't want to use those words. So they said, none of your business, which is not really what they said. And they walked out and everybody said, Trump is finished. He's not getting the numbers. Because in the past, nobody said that. They'd say, I'm voting for this one or that one. There were no people that wouldn't say, they'd just say who they voted for. So what they did, thank you, darling, thank you. So what they did, she keeps saying, I love you, right in the middle of my punchline. So they always say one or the other. And I had one analyst who was very smart, but I was called by Fox, this person at Fox, sir, I'm sorry, sir, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. And they say, it's 4:00 in the afternoon because, they've interviewed all these people. And another one would call me. They all said, oh, they were actually happy. Most of them were happy. Some were really sad, though. A lot of the people were really sad. So it came out, this is going to be a very short evening for Donald Trump. They were so happy. Martha Raddatz was actually crying at the end when I won. She was crying. You don't think she's biased, do you? Martha Raddatz, also of ABC. ABC is the worst of the group, by the way, I have to tell you. They're all bad. But the worst is ABC, and they proved that with the worst two anchors anybody's ever seen on this thing. They were the worst. At least they shouldn't have been so obvious, right? You know, Libby. So anyway, so I walked out, and the people walked in, and I was getting calls that thousands of people all over the country. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Then one guy calls me up who's a political, brilliant guy, and he said, sir, and I went to see, I don't think I've ever told this story. I went to see our great First Lady, and I said, darling, I got home from Michigan. I was in Michigan last stop. And I got home from Michigan at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had a rally. We had 42,000 people. At 1 o'clock, I did 7 rallies. I started in Florida. I went from Florida, where it was 88, to Michigan, where it was 20 degrees below zero. I said, if you don't catch a pneumonia in this business, you're never going to catch a pneumonia, right? But I went to our great First Lady, and I said, darling, and I felt okay. It was amazing because the athletes, they say, I left it on the field. I left it all on the field. Well, I did, because I did 7 major rallies for 2 days.
Wow.
7 each. Who the hell could do that?
Yeah.
People were saying nobody else could do it.
In fact, I can find the wrong one.
You think Biden could do it? I don't think so. I don't think Biden would do 7. I don't know if he'd do 1. He'd do 1 that would last for about 3 minutes. Now, we did major rallies, speak for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes go to the next day. We get all up and down. We went off everywhere. But this one guy calls up. So everyone had called me. I had a young gentleman in my family came to see me. Sir, you haven't lost, but it's not looking good. This is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on election day, right? And I said, it's all right. Don't worry about it. So I went to see my wife, and I said, I don't feel the way I thought I'd feel. I thought I'd be like devastated, but I left it all out. And if we don't make it, but it looks not good. She said, does it look like you're not going to win? I said, it really looks that way. And we'll get by it. It's one of those things, but I was very disappointed. But I just felt it wasn't like, gee, if only I worked a little bit harder, because humanly, you couldn't work harder. Then about 5:30, I get a call from a very smart political guy. And he goes, sir, I'd like to congratulate you. I said, on what? He said, you won this election. And I said, what do you mean I won the election? I was told by every pundit that I lost the election. He said, no, you won the election. I'm 95% sure, because we've never seen so many people leaving an election that said, it's none of your business, right? Meaning, you know what? It's none of your business. We've never seen that before. A massive number, like almost 50%. Who'd you vote for? None of your business. He said, every single one of those people belong to you. They're our people, whether we like it or not. And he said, you're going to win Florida, you're going to win Georgia, you're going to win all these states. I think you're going to win because, normally it would be like 5%, 10% might say it. You've got 50%. There's never been anything like that. And I believe all those votes are your votes. I said, well, all right, good. And then all of a sudden they came out, and the rest is history, right? The polls closed. And they started with Donald Trump. So Florida closed at 8 o'clock or whatever. And within like seconds, it closed. Florida polls have closed. Donald Trump has won the great state of Florida. Donald Trump has won the great state of Georgia. Donald Trump. It went all the way up the East Coast, all over the place. And we ended up winning. That was quite a day, wasn't it, though? And then we did much better the second time. Much better. Much better. And then, but this is going to be the time, because we've never had the enthusiasm that we have now. We've never had it. Because now you see how bad they're doing. You see how bad. Before, there was nothing to judge, right? Because I was the president, we did great. We had a great economy. We got hit with COVID, which is China. And you know, people didn't really think in terms of that. It was a terrible thing, but we got hit. The whole world got hit. The world, $62 trillion and millions of deaths all over the world. The world got hit. Everybody, Abe in Japan was devastated by it. So many people were devastated. Good people, very good people,
Not on
great
both sides.
people actually. But what happened was amazing. And now they see how bad a job they've done. Think of it. The inflation, the economy is terrible. Everything's terrible. We're not respected in the world. A war that would have never happened with Russia and Ukraine started. A situation in Israel would have never, ever happened. Never, ever happened. And that's a disaster. The whole Middle East is blowing up. Viktor Orban, the prime minister of Hungary, said, you got to bring Trump back or this whole world is going to blow up. So we're gonna do things, but I will tell you. So 16 was great, 20 was better,
Mhm.
and this one blows both of them away because we've never seen the enthusiasm. Like, look at this crowd. We've never seen the enthusiasm that we have. So I'm pleased to be joined this afternoon by the next senator from Arizona, and we're going to call her a different name. She may be angry. I haven't told her this, but she may be angry. She may never speak to me again, but I'm going to give her a different name because, you know, she's very strong on the border. She knows the problems that you're having in your state. Arizona's got tremendous problems with illegals coming in from all over the world and just pouring in. And, you know, by the way, taking Hispanic jobs, taking African American jobs, taking people that have been here a long time, citizens, taking the jobs. But she's been very strong on it. And I just realized, because it's gotten so bad, when you look at Springfield, Ohio, when you look at Aurora in Colorado, where the governor has no, I feel so sorry for this guy. He has no idea what to do. He's a Democrat, so, you know, he has no idea what to do about it. He's devastated. He's afraid to do anything. But if you look, the Venezuelans have taken over. I mean, and they walk in with guns, the biggest guns that I've ever seen. They had guns that were Supreme. They call them Supreme guns, AK-47 Supreme. They have stuff. I don't know where the hell they get this stuff. They come in. They've taken over buildings. They're in the real estate business. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
And that's just the beginning. It's going to get really bad. Okay. And, you know, you have a sheriff with a deputy or something, and you got 30 guys with AK-47s and all these horrible, I mean, big stuff. And they're taking over. And it's not, let me tell you, we're not letting it happen. This woman is very strong. She's running against a weak person. She's running against a guy who voted 100% of the time. When he was voting, he voted 100% of the time just about for crooked Joe Biden. He's weakened the border. He wants to have open borders, and he's going to go back to that. I don't even know what he's saying now. It doesn't matter, because when they're for open borders, they're never going to change. They're stupid people, because it's going to ruin our country. But she's tough in the border. So if you don't mind, I'm going to call her Border Carrie Lake. From now on, it's
Border Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake. She's a fantastic person. I've known her a long time. I was one of the early people that endorsed her. And I'll tell you, she is tough, tough, tough on the border. And, you know, that's taken over. I think in 2016, I won maybe because of the border. I don't know, the economy, the border, whatever. But a lot of it was, but the border, and I fixed it. And in 2020, I couldn't talk about the border. My people would say, sir, you're wasting your time talking about the border. I said, well, wait a minute. I fixed the border. I want to talk about it. Nobody wants to hear it. You know, once it's fixed, nobody wants. I made that border so strong, and I couldn't talk about it. But let me give you the bad news. That border was 1/100th of what it is now. That border was, when I took over, it was bad. But it was just a fraction of what now. It's horrible and dangerous, and we're ruining our country. We're destroying. So Carrie told me that she's going to be focusing on the border, right? And she is. You're going to get it fixed, right? You're going to get it fixed, and she's going to get it done. She's tough. She's tough on the border, though. It bothered her from the first day you started having the problem.
Hmm.
She would have done it as governor, and that race was a very sad race because she did great. But she would have done that as governor. But she'll do it even more so, in a sense, as senator, and she'll fix your border, and she'll be working with me on doing it.
And I like Carrie Lake, so that will be interesting to see how she's involved if she becomes.
Border Carrie Lake.
Mhm.
Thank
I'm
you.
no fan of Kamala's.
Thank you, Border Carrie. I don't know. I'm giving her a tag. You know, when I give people tags, it stays. But that's a good one. She's going to be great. She'll be a great. And the guy, honestly, he is nothing. This guy that's running, he's got nothing going, and he couldn't care less about the border. You need help. You can't let this happen. Also, a candidate who's a great person who I endorsed. He just did a fantastic job of everything he's done. Now he's running, as you know, for Congress. He's doing really well. Won in the primaries, tough races. Won in the primaries. He's somebody that really seems to be able to get the job done, like very few people that we all know. But Abe Hamadeh is here someplace.
Okay, and who's that?
He's a tough cookie.
He's a tough cookie. Okay.
He's a tough cookie, and I can really name him border also. But how many names can I use? But you're a big border guy. You want to see a strong border, and you'll win on the border. You will, and Carrie will win on the border. You don't have to talk about anything else because everything else we'll fix. We'll take care of we'll bring your interest rates down. We'll do everything, but you'll win on the border. If you guys just focus on that, you don't have to talk about much else. There's a man that's going to help you a lot on the border, too. He's a fantastic friend of mine, Art Del Cuello. Border Patrol, the head of Border Patrol. Where is Art? He's a good guy, too. He's been my friend along with a couple of our other friends that for a long time. And, you know, they endorsed me years ago, and they've never taken it back. And I saw that Art and his people go on television. They say there's only one man going to be able to do this border. And I appreciate it, Art. We won't forget it, Art. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, everybody else, too, Art. Appreciate it. And Arizona Republican Party Chairwoman Gina Swoboda. Gina, she is great. She is a winner. Thank you very much, Gina. And I'd like to thank all of the police I met backstage and Border Patrol people, ICE. That's great to stand up for them. They go through a lot. That's great. Look at that. Look at that, Art. That's great. And they deserve it, too. You don't know how much respect we all have for you and the job you do, and it's dangerous work. And, you know, they want to really do the job. They're stopped from doing their job. They want to do their job. They want to work. It's more dangerous. It's harder, but they want to save our country. These people are incredible, I'll tell you. As the people of Arizona understand better than anyone else, under Kamala Harris, our country is under a thing called invasion. Did you ever hear the word invasion? Just like a military. It's like a military invasion. We're being conquered and we are being occupied by a foreign element. And, you know, if you think about it, China has a 5 million man army, mostly man in that case, I can tell you. But they have a 5 million person army. And we have 21 million people coming this year. This period of time, 21 million people over the period of the last few years. Think of it. They have a 5 million, that's a big army. And we have 21 million people here. So cut out half.
That means you have 10 million people and they have guns. You just see that. If you look at Colorado, take a look at Aurora. They have guns that are the most sophisticated guns anywhere in the world, high-powered stuff. And, you know, you say to yourself, so if you cut the number in half, 10 million people, and cut that number in half, 5 million, that's the size of China and what they have as an
Wow.
army. It's pretty dangerous stuff. We got to get them the hell out of here. As discussed in the debate,
Mhm.
not only is Comrade Kamala allowing illegal aliens to stampede across our border, but she is flying them here from other countries. Remember, she said, no, no. Remember when their polls were crashing a few months ago, she said, oh, and they issued some order, Art. I don't know what it was because it stopped it a little bit, slowed it down a little bit, but it doesn't mean he knows. He's laughing. He knows because they'll slow it down a little bit. Then they'll say, oh, look at the numbers. But they have a problem. They didn't include the airplane numbers. They fly them in by the tens of thousands. Think of it.
I got to
They're
find out.
trying to say they're
That is
into the
true.
border, and yet they have airplanes, beautiful airplanes going and picking them up and dropping them into the middle of our country, where I would say that the states, it means we really have 50 border states. No, they're dropping them into the middle of our country all over the place. They fly them in. Think of that. They fly them in by jets. They're flying in all the time. And Art, they don't count those numbers, do they? They don't talk about them. When they fly in, and then they have a special app, right? They have an app where the cartels are allowed to use the app to get their people in. Do you believe this? It's an app for cartels. So the illegal cartels that are among the richest people in the world, by the way, we think we have a lot of wealth. Well, take that 400, the Forbes 400 or whatever it is. Forbes isn't doing so well anymore.
Mhm.
But take whatever the hell 400 they have. These guys would qualify. In many cases, they'd be a hell of a lot richer. The cartels are using this app. Think of it, to bring
Cartel
thousands
app.
and thousands of people here illegally. Over the past 3.5 years, Harris-Biden administration has resettled 500,000 illegal immigrants from the failed state of Haiti, which is a totally failed country, very sad situation, into American communities, including over 200,000 who Kamala has illegally flown into the United States by airplane. Think of that. And they're coming out of Haiti, and they're coming out of other failed countries at levels that nobody has ever seen before. In addition to Aurora, Colorado, there's a place called Springfield, Ohio, that you've been reading about. 20,000 illegal Haitian
Eating cat.
immigrants have descended upon the town of 58,000 people, destroying their entire way of life. This was a beautiful community, and now it's horrible what's happened. Enrollment on the state's Medicaid and food assistance programs have soared. Motor vehicle accidents have skyrocketed. Recording of 911 calls even show residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese. They're taking the geese.
I'm still
You know
trying
where
to
the geese
find
are?
this
In the
story.
park
If
and
it's
the
true.
lake. And even walking off with their pets.
Hmm.
My dog's been taken. My dog's been stolen. This can only happen. These people are the worst. I'm telling you, Biden and Kamala, this is the worst combination in the history of our country. The only one happy is Jimmy Carter, because he's no longer referred to as the worst president in history.
Wow.
Not even
100,
close.
100 years old.
Likewise, the small 4,000 person town of Charleroi, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Charleroi. What a beautiful name.
This one I don't know.
But it's not so beautiful now. Has experienced a 2,000% increase in the population of Haitian migrants under Kamala Harris. So Pennsylvania, remember this when you have to go to vote. Okay, just remember this.
Okay.
2,000% increase. This is a small town. All of a sudden, they got thousands of people. The
Wow.
schools are scrambling to hire translators for the influx of students who don't speak not a word of English, costing local taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the town is virtually bankrupt. This flood of illegal aliens is also bringing massive crime to the town and every place near it. Earlier this year in Massachusetts, one of the Haitian illegals who Kamala flew into America was charged with raping a 15-year-old girl and badly hurting that girl. Also in Massachusetts, a Haitian migrant was charged with raping a pregnant woman and beating her very badly. Yet another Haitian migrant who
Third
she
story.
imported was arrested for molesting a 10-year-old child who lived right next door. The child next door was badly hurt. In New York this year, an illegal brought in through Kamala's migrant phone app was charged with savagely murdering his two roommates. He had two roommates set up by the people that set that up in this country. Welcome. They go, welcome. What would you like? Oh, I'd like to have a nice room. Okay, we'll give you two roommates. Viciously stabbing them to death. But these are just a few of the many stories. There are hundreds and hundreds. There are thousands of stories. They're coming in from all over the world, from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and
That's
insane
what he said.
asylums, and many
How did they get
tourists
here?
in numbers that we have never seen before. You've never seen these numbers before, Art. You never saw these numbers before. Have you? You've never seen anything like this. This is unique, at least with you. It's unique. We cannot let this happen to our country. It will not end well unless Donald J. Trump is elected the 47th president of the United States.
We have to check all those stories.
Thank you. All right, we'll get them out. We'll get it ready. We'll bring back our country in many ways. That's one way. But to me, that's like one of the most important ways. Well, we'll also stop World War III. That's an important way.
Let's not forget that.
There has never been an invasion like this in any country. There's never been an invasion like this. There's never been a border like this. No matter where you go in the world throughout history, there's never been a border like this. And the fake news media will correct me if that's the case. I'll tell you what, there's never been anything like what's happening to our country in history, because no leader of a country is as stupid as the two people that are leading our country.
I like everything except for the name calling.
In fact, our leadership, if you think about it, is non-existent. I mean, where's Biden? Do you think he lies awake at night, turning and tossing on finding a way to stop the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine? I don't think so. He hasn't spoken to Putin in years. I will get that war settled as president-elect. And I'm telling you, this is true. Kamala, a committed Marxist, you know, her father's a Marxist professor, will be far worse than crooked Joe Biden. She's going to be worse because he doesn't really believe it. She does. She does believe it. And she'll go back to no fracking and all the other things we talked about. She'll go back to them on day one. But on day one of my administration, I will stop this invasion. I will seal the border. I will end the Harris migrant flights. And I will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. We have no choice.
They got their chance.
Thank you. We will not allow our country to be destroyed. They're destroying our country. We will get the criminals out, and we will not let them back into our country. We're not going to let them back in. They're staying out. You know, the other countries are doing this. You know that. And this is all over the world. This isn't just South America. This isn't Honduras alone and Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico. This is all over the world. The Congo in Africa comes. A lot of people coming from the Congo, but Africa, they're coming. Asia, the Middle East. and South America, but they're coming from all over the world. And they're coming from prisons and they're coming from jails. We're not going to let this happen to our country.
Mm.
Another terrible effect of the Harris migrant invasion, and she's the one that wanted it more than Biden. Biden didn't know what the hell was happening. He said, oh, that sounds like a nice idea.
Mm.
Is that it is driving housing costs through the roof. You know that, right? You're affected by that. Fewer than 5 million new houses were built in the last 3 years, yet Kamala Harris has imported 21 million illegal aliens who are now disproportionately occupying lower income rental properties. So think of it. We built 5,000 units, 5 million units. We built, think of this. They started in a little community where they did 5,000. That was quite nice. Then they go to 5 million units, but we have 21 million people came in. None of them are going to be paying a lot of rent, I can tell you that. Because a lot of those people are people that shouldn't be here. Some should, but a lot of them are people that shouldn't be here. As just one example, a vivid one, look at the explosion in rent in Springfield, Ohio, where Kamala has resettled the 20,000 Haitians. There's a chart up here someplace.
Oh, there goes charts. You gonna say something about that?
I don't like that as much as the chart that I had in Butler, PA.
I knew it.
That was my fault.
You love that chart. Go to sleep with that chart.
That was my favorite chart. That was my favorite chart. We still have that. That was a great, beautiful chart. The red, the yellow, right? And the blue. That was my all-time. That is going to be my all-time favorite chart. I don't care what chart I look at over the years. I will sleep with that chart every single night.
Told you.
But look at the numbers and look at the way those lines are. They're totally out of control. When I return to the White House, we will require that all companies receiving federal housing subsidies to verify citizenship. We're going to verify citizenship. We're going to make sure that it's a legal residency. And as a condition of their rental agreements, they're going to have to do all of it. Taxpayers will not subsidize apartment rentals for illegal aliens, and we will not permit illegals to drive up the cost for Americans in need.
Very interesting. What do you think about that?
In addition, I will ban all mortgages for illegal aliens. You can't have it.
Wow.
Now in California, under Gavin Newsom, you know, they want to give illegals mortgages. They want all illegals. How about all illegals get a mortgage? You don't get any mortgage, they do. This is the first part of my plan to restore housing affordability in America. Kamala Harris is killing the American dream, but with your vote this November, it's going to be the most important election ever in the history of our country. We are going to bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Give it to you still. We're going to make.
Going to bring it back. Under my leadership, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. Before the pandemic, we raised real median household income by $7,684, a record per family. We achieved the lowest Hispanic American unemployment rate and the lowest Hispanic American poverty rate in the history of our country.
What did you
And
do?
Hispanic American household wealth and home ownership reached the highest level ever recorded. Thank you very much. I like you. But now Arizonans are experiencing an affordability crisis, and this is a crisis of historic proportions. You agree? You know that. You know what's going on in this area in particular. Today, not a single major city in Arizona is considered affordable, not one. When I was president, nearly 2/3 of the homes in Phoenix were considered affordable for families making the median income. Think of it, 2/3, and now it's none. Today, the number of homes that are affordable for those middle-class families is down to a number that you don't even want to hear. It's almost like Nothing.
Let's hear it.
Here are the other pillars of my plan to end this nightmare and help millions of Arizona families afford the house of your dreams. We will rapidly reduce inflation by slashing energy costs. We're going to slash energy costs, taxes, and we are going to slash regulations. By quickly defeating inflation, we will in turn bring interest rates down very fast. When I was president, interest rates were hovering around 2%. You got a mortgage. Oh, look at that guy, the big guy. Stand up. Look at the shoulders on him. You got a mortgage at around 2%. That's right. You. How many people have a who else looks like that? Nobody gonna mess with him, right? Nobody gonna mess with that guy. But he was happy when I said, Lord, you got a good mortgage. I can see a lot of other people did. Today, the mortgage rates are at 10%, 11%, 12%. You can't get the money. We're going to bring it down very fast. We're going to bring energy down. We will drive down the rates so you will be able to pay 2% again, and we will be able to finance or refinance your homes drastically at much lower costs. You do a refinancing or a financing if you're looking. This step alone will save Arizona families between $800 and $1,000 per month on their mortgage for a typical home. Under Comrade Kamala Harris, your electricity bills here in Arizona rose an estimated almost 100%.
Whoa.
It's the largest increase anywhere in the country. Did you know that? Congratulations. You're number one in the. Oh, that's right. That's not good.
Not a good thing.
No, congratulations. You're number one in the country for the increase in your electric bills. What the hell is going on?
Boo, boo. Right.
As president, I will end the Harris-Biden war on American energy on day one. And under my plan, it is my goal to cut your energy costs by 50% in the first year.
That would be nice.
50%. Remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation in the world, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We will slash the cost of heating, air conditioning, gasoline, electricity, and by bringing down the price of energy, we will defeat inflation and reduce the prices, which are through the roof right now. People can't afford cereal. You got to see, it's so sad when you see people being interviewed and they buy 3 apples and they walk away from the cashier and they bring an apple back because they can't afford it.
Wow.
And it happens all the time. Upon taking office,
An
I
apple.
will also sign an executive order directing the immediate termination of every single unnecessary rule that is impeding housing construction and driving up the costs of housing. Government regulations are responsible for more than 25% of the cost of a new single-family home and 40% of the cost of multifamily homes. Think of it. Regulations costing 40% of the cost, and it takes you years to get it done. We're going to end all of that. I have been a builder my entire life. I understand the problem, and I will fix it. I know how to fix it. Nobody else is going to figure it out. My objective will be to cut the cost of building a new home by 30 to 50%, and much of it is regulation. And in addition, we will open, and this is your great people in the state that are asking me so many times, so many people are asking me to do this. We will open up new tracts of federal land for large-scale housing construction so that we can get housing on the market. About 18% of all land in Arizona is owned by the Bureau of Land Mismanagement.
Is that a real
It's actually
department?
management,
Thank you.
mismanagement. I have to be careful because, you know, with the fake news media, I can go a whole speech. Stand up here largely without a teleprompter. I don't read them most of the time. But because you'd find it very boring when you read teleprompters. Run, spot, run. Remember I said that? But I could go a whole day. I could go stand up here, talk to you for 2 hours. If I mispronounce one word, like I called mismanagement, I said the Bureau of Mismanagement. Well, I was kidding. They won't say that. They'll say he's cognitively impaired. No, it's true. Watch, that'll be all over television. sarcasm for me is the worst thing possible, because when I'm being sarcastic or say something kiddingly, like even the other night, I was talking about how much we won by
Yep.
a certain election
You was gonna say that.
a few years ago. And I jokingly said, we won they won by just a little smidgen. Is it true that you think the election was close? Because you said just, I said, yeah, I was being sarcastic. It's not good when I imitate Joe Biden not being able to find his way off the stage, which happens all the time. No, it happens all the time. I get decimated by the fake news media. And sometimes they say, look, he can't find his way off the stage either. You have these stages, they have like 4 or 5 stairs, usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, is this a government owned building? They have more. They have usually more stairs. But when I do an imitation of that, they will sometimes say, because I called up our great First Lady, I said, how great was my speech tonight? Because they're always on television. You know why? Because they get good ratings. I said, how great was my speech tonight? Did you see the size of that crowd? Oh, and by the way, her crowds are zero. Her crowd, she's got no crowds. They bus the people in. They pay buses to bring people. Nobody here rode in on a bus, I guarantee you that, unless you own it.
Unless you own it.
I said, did you see how great my speech was tonight, darling? How great? She said, well, it was good. I said, what'd you think? Well, I didn't like your hair.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that before.
I said, what else? But the people were going crazy. They loved it. Well, yeah, they might have, but you looked really bad. You couldn't find the stairs off the stage. I said, I was imitating that guy. But this is the fake news media, just like these 2 fakers that were up this weekend. I think they really hurt their career. I really believe that. I think they hurt. I hope they did.
I don't think so.
Finally, I will save America's suburbs by protecting single-family zoning. The radical left wants to abolish the suburbs by forcing apartment complexes and low-income housing into the suburbs right next to your beautiful house.
Mm.
Right next, you have a beautiful house and they want a nice low-income building to be right next to you. I will end this Marxist crusade. I
Are they
did it,
doing
you
that?
know, I did it 5, 6 years ago. I did it. The suburbs were safe. That's why when they say suburban women maybe don't like Trump, I think they're wrong. I think they love me. I do. I never had problems with women. I never had any problems.
I don't know about that.
But they say suburban women. So they live in the
Um,
suburbs, and I'm the one that says you can't build a low-income apartment house where people want to do harm when they move in, right next to your beautiful little house, right? And then I hear the women don't like me. The women want strong borders. They don't want to be hurt, molested, killed. They want their family to be safe. They want a strong military, so we're not going to be attacked by anybody. Peace through strength. So why wouldn't they like me? Those are the things that I stand for. They want good education. And I'm for choice. They also want choice. Choice is a big thing in education. To get even more relief to American workers, I will massively cut taxes for working families, and we will have no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security benefits.
You forgot about that. Nobody asked about that at the debate. Social Security.
No taxes on tips. You remember a few months ago, I announced there will be no taxes on tips. A couple of weeks later, she goes, I'd like to announce that there will be no taxes. Well, why didn't they do this before? In the meantime, they are putting in legislation to make it impossible for these people to avoid paying taxes on the tips. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I think it was a little bit of a copycat, you know, a little bit of a copycat. And also, very importantly, no taxes on Social Security benefits for our seniors. That's a big deal. I don't know. Maybe that's even a bigger deal.
I think that
But I
is.
have a big one coming up. So you have the privilege of being the first to hear this.
Here we
Because
go.
I'm also announcing, and you remember that, seniors, when you go to vote, because you know what? You've been eaten alive by the stupid inflation caused by energy and caused by their overspending foolishly, the stupid spending. The Inflation Reduction Act, they call it. And then they said, well, it was a lie. It was really part of the Green New Scam. Okay. Remember that? They said it was a lie. It was a massive spending, trillions of dollars, and it caused inflation, but it also was helped inflation by their stupid energy policy. And just so you know, they're doing about what I was doing, but that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I would have had it quadrupled by now. They're doing the same thing as I was doing many years ago, but they had to. They were cutting it like crazy. They lost Anwar, the biggest site in the world that I got. Ronald Reagan couldn't get, nobody in Alaska. And they went out and it was terrible. Remember the first part where it was $5, $6, it was going through the roof? And he said, bring back the Trump plan. What did they do? So they got those rigs going again, and we had sort of similar numbers, but mine would have been 4 times, maybe 5 times higher by now. And what they have is they're just steaming along. And let me tell you, if they won the election, right after the election, they're ending all fossil fuel. You're not going to
Oh,
have
wow.
any, and you're going to find out what bad living is. Today,
So
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means?
wow.
Think of that.
Well, that's a big deal. No taxes on
Think of that.
overtime? Wow. Talk about getting extra money in
Think
your
of that.
paycheck. Breaking news.
That gives people more of an incentive to work. It gives the companies it's a lot easier to get the people. And, you know, I went to some economists, great ones, and I said, what do you think? They said, it would be unbelievable. You'll get a whole new workforce by doing that. No taxes on overtime.
Wow. And as much as many people make and work
The
extra
people
hours,
who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them. Those are the people that really work. They're police officers, nurses, factory workers, construction workers, truck drivers, and
healthcare
machine
workers,
operators.
teachers.
It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break, and that's what we're doing because this is a good one.
Hmm.
And I think it's going to be great for the country.
And you can sign this by penning.
So that's why we will be saying that if you're an overtime worker, when you're past 40 hours a week, think of that.
Mm,
Your overtime hours will be tax-free. Okay? Good.
that's
You're
crazy.
gonna have it too.
Wow.
And unlike Biden, where he tells you that you don't have to pay your school tuition and he gets rejected, then he goes again and again. Now it's totally gone. Or as they say in politics, it's debunked. It's gone. That was terrible. You know, he kept saying to these students, no more loans, no more loans, which was very unfair to the millions of people that actually paid off their loans over the years. Some of them took 20 years to pay them
Yeah.
off, but that's a dead deal. That's totally dead. You know, they tried to revive it 2 weeks ago. That didn't work out too well. That's a totally dead deal. But these will be 3 things that will get done. So if you think about no tax on tips, think of that.
Tax
Think
on
about
tips.
this and the Social Security for our seniors, because the seniors have been destroyed by inflation. It's unfair. And this is like a whole new life for them because you're talking about a lot of money. So no tax on Social Security
That's
for our great
security.
seniors. And this last one is no tax. You work your ass off, no tax on overtime. And that's so good for the employers.
And bring back the school loan.
One of our economists said, I think that's actually going to bring money into our economy. You know, when I cut taxes, we had the largest tax cut in history. And when I cut taxes with a much lower rate the following year, we took in more money than we ever took in with a much higher rate. People, the jobs, people work by a lot. But this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under the Kamala and Crooked Joe regime and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, and low inflation so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a beautiful home. We will stop the invasion and end migrant crime, support our police, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield over our country. Much of it will be made right here. Ronald Reagan wanted to do it many years ago, but we didn't. Honestly, we're lucky we didn't because we didn't have the technology. Now we do. You see in Israel how it works, and we're going to have the biggest and the best. We make it. We're going to all make it, and a lot of it's going to be made in a place called Arizona. Is that okay?
So we think he's going to have Arizona.
We will keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools.
With applause on that.
It's amazing. It's insane. You know, that always gets like the biggest applause. It's like a poll. You're like a pollster. You're like a free poll, I must say. No, but you are. It always gets the biggest because can you imagine your child goes to school and they don't even call you and they change the sex of your child? Think of it. And you know who the leader of that whole thing was? Kamala. Kamala. And another one that gets a big hand, and it's crazy. We will keep men out of women's sports. How simple.
What do you think on that, guys?
How simple. How simple is that? Did you see the Olympics recently? It was pretty good. But they had the prize fighters, the fighters. And they had the women's fighter. They now have women's boxing. That's a big step, but they have women's boxing. And you had this beautiful young woman from Italy, and she was fighting against a man who transitioned. And there were two of them that transitioned. There were two of them that transitioned. By the way, shockingly, both happened to win a gold medal, okay? The two transition men won, but the woman from Italy, she's up, and she's a good fighter. And she's up, and she wants to win, and she's going to show that we can take this man or woman, this transitioned person, they say. I said, what do I say? They said, transitioned person. And I said, fine, I'm going to say that. But she's going to show them. And he goes, for those that don't like know much about the left is just sort of a little defensive. Boom. She didn't know what happened. She pulls away. They thought, what happened? She's not. Then she gives it another try, and he goes, boom, with the left. Not the right. This is the one that really hurts, right? Boom. And she goes, I've never been. Then she quit. She walked off. That was the end. She didn't even go there. She just walked off. She said, I could never stay. I've never been hit like that. Then the other fighter, the same thing. So you had two transitioned people fighting. They both easily won gold medals. The greatest is the weightlifting, though. A record that stands for 18 years.
Did this
They put
thing?
an eighth of an ounce here and an eighth of an ounce here on the big barbell. And they got women that are so strong. And this one was going to break the record, and she went up with that thing. She got and her parents are right there. And they're going, come on, darling. My wife hates when I do this. She says it's so unprecedented. She's got a great style. No, she goes, do you have to do that thing with the weightlifting? It's so, but people like it, right? Should I do it or not?
Okay, here we go.
I tell her that. I tell her that. I said, people love it, but she gets it up here. The parents are right where you're sitting. These beautiful women up here. The parents, mom, dad, they're so proud. She gets, come on, baby, you can do it. You saw it. Well, can't do it. She couldn't get it up. Then a guy comes up. They asked him outstage, have you lifted before? Not much. No, just sort of started. And he said, oh, good luck, sir. I mean, ma'am. And he goes up, looks down. Give him a gold.
Wow.
How crazy is it? Or the swimmers. How about the swimmers? You have the greatest swimmers in the world. They want to win. They want to compete. And this one young lady, all-America swimmer, they're all sort of all-Americans or close. And she looks left and she sees young ladies that she's been growing up with because, you know, they meet the top of the peak, right? The top of the peak, the best. She looks left and she sees 5 young ladies that she's grown up with in California and other places. She looks to the right, she sees 4, and this person next to her who's gigantic. Looks like Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain
Mm.
on steroids. And she looks up. She's never seen anything like this, but she's okay because she's like top. And she's going to break that record. She's going to break the Olympic record. This guy had a reach that nobody has ever seen before. So he gets in and he jumps in, they jump in that pool, and she's swimming like crazy. And as you know, you probably heard they had to take her out. She was seriously injured.
Go
You know
on.
what injured her? Wind burn. He went by her so fast
What?
that she suffered massive wind burn. Very serious.
I have to check that
problem.
out.
He won by a lot. In fact, he was having lunch while the other young ladies were coming. He was enjoying a nice lunch as the rest of them were swimming in.
That's exactly right.
How demeaning to women, right? Demeaning. How ridiculous. How demeaning to women. Like they have wrestling. Stand up again. Will you stand up? Right there. You with the Trump. How the hell can a woman? Is there any woman in this audience that wants to take this guy on? All right. No, I love that guy. He wears it. Anybody wears a Trump shirt, I like that guy. He looks okay to me. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with joy and opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. I use that term because you know what that term means, right? Communist.
Oh,
She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Remember, I used to say, America will never be a socialist country. Actually, they skipped past socialism. They started at communism. We must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. So get everyone you know. You got to go vote. You got to get people to vote. Because we want to get a landslide that's too big to rig. You know, if we have the big votes, they can't rig it. They try. They're the most dishonest people. We want to go too big to rig.
too big, too rig. Sounds like a rap song. Too legit to
On
quit.
November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. And we will always put America first. We will take back our country. Arizona, thank you very much. And God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. What did you guys think about that? Just be honest. You're truly Anthony Parker Alexander. Ooh. So when we were rushing to hurry up and get on, we got on the wrong platform. So you saw an older Trump from a couple days ago. But the good thing is you got to compare and contrast the two Trumps. There's one Trump out Trump another one. You saw him in his casual shirt, open outside. Then you saw him in his presidential outfit, looking so cool. Wow. So what do we get out of this? And you're going to see some of my shorts, my videos that I'm going to make out of this program. Social Security, cutting the taxes on that to help the older people. That's good. I don't know what this Harris has said about Social Security. So I think he's got her on there. No taxes on tips. He did say it before her, but she wants to do the same thing, so that might be a tie. The school loans. That didn't work, but he didn't talk about doing that. So if he decided to do that, he would get the votes. Because I haven't heard Ms. Harris talk about trying to reinstate that. And the one that I think is really great, no taxes on overtime. how much of an impact do you think that will make? Because we always say sometimes you work overtime, you get those taxes cut. So even working overtime, you got to make sure you don't work too many hours overtime because then you're not really making a lot of money. But if there's going to be no taxes and you work over 40, that means that some jobs will have to have you a full-time 40-person person. Because some jobs are 38, some jobs don't go to 40. So that means the jobs are going to have to increase their hours a little bit to make people full-time. And then there's no taxes. How many people are normally working one or two jobs and working really 40, 50, 60 hours a week? I know people that work 100 hours a week. And you think about that. If you're full-time and you do 40, and then you do another 40 in a week, and you get time and a half, and there's no taxes, you're not necessarily getting a raise. But if you got a raise, that'd be even better. But you're getting no taxes taken out, which is crazy. But that means you'd have to really keep up with your hours. So those are a couple of good things that Trump said. And, with Ms. Harris, she said it's going to make it easier for home ownership. Okay. They're doing the thing for the medicals as far as the insulin and how much seniors pay per year. We don't really hear anything about school. No, I didn't hear anything about that. Oh, and a tax credit too. 6,000, I think, per kid. So if you got 3 kids, that's 24. That's crazy. That's $24,000. I have to look into that. Maybe it's something I'm missing. But let me know if it is $6,000 credit. Is that per child? We'll have to find out. So let me know what you thought about this. He talked about the debate. He feels he won. The one thing that he was right, ABC News and David Muir, who I've always liked, I didn't like him pressing Trump and kind of like fact-checking Trump, but not fact-checking Harris, and then asking Harris when he say, well, you know what? That's not right, Mr. President. Ms. Harris, what is your response to this not being right? Like she's a parent or something. And he said he wasn't mad. Trump was mad. So out of both of them, that presidential debate, I think she won on style. On substance, I'm still fact checking because I don't have the papers in front of me. Oh, here I go. Doing a show. Got more papers than this. Gonna fact check the debate. Stay tuned for that. A lot of stuff, both sides needed to be fact checked. But like I said, you look at these shows, you look at these debates, and use them as cliff notes. Information we give you, check it out. Try to check it out on as many sources as you can. That's what we do. So we rush to start the show, but this is keeping it honest. We give the left side, we give the right side. At the end of the day, we hope you decide. You may not like what you see, but if you're mad at us, no matter what, we gave you the truth. We are really fair, and we are really balanced. Like Fox used to be. They used to be fair and balanced. So I didn't want to say that. So we're really fair and really balanced. And we thank you. Keep commenting to us on the phone or on the site, and I do my comments and everything. And I thank you for supporting us. We may just do a show where we talk about some of the comments that we've gotten. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll discuss that. So our Instagram, we got that up now. Thank you, guys. Anthony Alexander SR8. That's my handle. Anthony Alexander SR8. Go to my Instagram as we're putting this together, and let's communicate like we're doing in the comments on my page. I thank you. So we do shorts as short as 5 seconds, and we do longs as long as 5.5 hours. We recently covered the debate, which was great, and now we got smaller segments of that. We did a pre-debate show, then we did the whole debate, and then we did the after debate. The pre-debate was an hour, the whole debate was 2 hours, And the after debate was 2 hours. We did 5 hours, almost 5.5 hours not too long ago. Go back and check on that. We do controversial shows, we do entertainment shows, we do anything and everything. We have a Patreon page. And what it is kind of like a PBS fundraising page. You type in patreon.com, and then you type in, make sure you can see my hands, keeping it honest. And then you pull up my page, and I have 3 tiers. And on those tiers, you can contribute as much as you want on these tiers. You can do it monthly, you can do it however you want. But you see the hard work we put into these shows. We do Midnight at the Oasis, which comes on at midnight most days. And we have coming up, you ever heard of that song, Midnight at the Oasis? I can't sing it. Well, I probably could, but then I don't want a record contract signed. But this song is 50 years old this year. And I said, Self, I want to see if I can contact the people that did that song. Well, lo and behold, that person is still around doing an anniversary of her song. And I am hoping to have her on my Midnight at the Oasis show. So stay tuned for that. You have any questions or comments? Like I said, you know how to get in contact with me. We are always on a lot more doing live shows. We do live shows, we do tape shows, we do shorts. And drop me a line what you would like to see. Tell your friends, we are growing because of you. We really are growing, and I appreciate what you guys are helping us do. As I grow, you grow. Join the family. Keeping it honest. Midnight at the Oasis, all the other stuff that we do. Maybe getting some of you guys on our show. The sky's the limit. We recently did a September 11th tribute, memorial. You need to check that out. It will make you think. It will entertain you. It may make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And it'll make you wonder and realize how great this country is. So election's coming up. We're going to keep on pounding some of these shows dealing with the election. We're going to cover some Harris rallies, maybe some J.D. Vance's again, and some Walz rallies, and Donald Trump. And we're going to have some of the people still who are still running for president before that time is up on my show. So please check it out. Tell your friends. Like, share, subscribe. Keep us growing. I'm Anthony Parker. Keep your head up. Never look down. Always believe in yourself. And therein will lie your answer. We don't just keep it simple. We don't just keep it real. We keep it honest. Until next time, God bless.